An estimated 6.6 million Syrian refugees are living outside their country's borders after years of civil war. Many are facing a grim winter in makeshift accommodation around the Middle East and Europe. Turkey has taken in the most, more than 3.5 million people. Tiny Lebanon has taken in about 1 million, and Jordan more than 600,000. In Europe, Germany has taken in 1.1 million. But millions more uprooted people remain stuck in Syria itself. Our next report looks at a camp in Idlib province.
After heavy rain, the entire camp turns to a muddy bog. And the already terrible conditions get even worse as winter intensifies and the temperatures plummet. Rahaf Abbas fuels her stove with whatever she can find or afford. If you don't have any money to buy wood to keep the kids warm, then you just have to buy whatever's cheapest. This plastic rubbish is bad for them, though. The children constantly have colds and are coughing. 4 years ago, Rahaf's daughter, Reham, narrowly escaped death. The stove exploded because they were using bad quality kerosene. Reham, who's now 12, suffered agonizing, disfiguring burns. The family cannot afford expensive reconstructive surgery. 20 kilometers away in the hospital in Bab al-Hawa, Dr. al-Sheikh says he's treating more and more patients with respiratory illnesses, which spread more easily in winter. The doctors used to send serious cases across the border to Turkey for treatment. But due to coronavirus, that border's now closed. Luckily, COVID has not established itself in the camp yet. The heating methods are unhealthy and directly damage the respiratory system. The damage to people's airways makes it very easy for them to be infected with coronavirus. The bad heating makes infection far more likely. There's a direct effect, meaning the people here are highly vulnerable. But it will probably be a long time before these Syrian refugees get vaccinated. In the meantime, the Abbas family has much bigger concerns than the coronavirus. My biggest hope is that somehow the situation for my daughter improves so she can play with other children again, go to school again, and just live like other children. That's my greatest wish. This is the 5th winter the family has spent in a tent in the northwestern Syrian province of Idlib.
We're now joined by Baya Strikem at the Jordan capital, Amman. She's the Syria Response Policy and Advocacy Advisor at the Norwegian Refugee Council. Ms. Strikem, thanks for talking to DW today. The family we just heard about has lived in this camp for 5 years. How common are stories like theirs?
Thank you for receiving me. Hi, good morning. Their story represents a story of many internally displaced Syrians and refugees outside Syria as well. In northern Syria, the province of Idlib that we just heard in the reportage, there are today 2.7 million internally displaced people in more than 1,000 camps. This is roughly the population of Paris in an area that is not bigger than twice the Luxembourg. So it's very overcrowded. And 80% of these internally displaced people are children and women. Most of them have been displaced several times because, of course, they flee the bombs, but then the conflict advances and the bombs keeps following them. Some of these families have been displaced more than 5 times. And in the camps inside Syria today, like you heard already, the situation is that the camps are overcrowded. People live in tents, and every time there is a rain, the tent is destroyed, and they either lose all the little belongings they still have, or they have to ask for a new tent and then rebuild again everything, including sometimes their dignity. 2 days ago, I was speaking to a family, and the dad name is Abu Suleiman. He was telling me that in Syria, families, especially in rural areas, are big. So he, for himself, have 2 girls and 2 boys, and 7 girls. He also takes care of his parents, so mom and dad. They all live in 2 tents, and they have been displaced more than 3 times in the past 5 years, I think. He was asking for one thing. He said, I need a bathroom, because in the camps in northern Syria, often they don't even have a bathroom. So he said, I don't need money, I don't need food, I don't need water, I just need a bathroom because I need my dignity to be back. So this is how it looks like now in northeast Syria.
You talk
Northern
about
Syria.
overcrowded camps. It's a cold winter. How prepared are these camps to face a possible outbreak of the coronavirus?
So it's been a year now since the beginning of the outbreak of the pandemic outbreak that the humanitarian community is trying to prepare for the outbreak inside Syria. Hopefully, the numbers right now are still low, even though they're increasing very much. In the past 3 months, they have been increasing a lot. We have been trying to build quarantine centers to increase the number of beds, to increase the number of ventilators for people to be able to survive in case of an outbreak of the pandemic. We are also distributing hygiene kits. The humanitarian community is trying as much as possible to protect also humanitarian workers who are in the front line of our work. So we are trying to protect the employees and the people that are living in the camps as much as we can. We also try to raise funding to increase our response. The problem is that the coronavirus pandemic has been added to already, is an additional layer to an already very difficult situation, where they are facing conflict and sorry.
Ms. Rikem, that's all we've got time for today. Thank you very much for taking this couple of minutes to talk to us today.
Thank you.